All right, Nick, selfishly for me, but all offseason, South Carolina Gamecocks have been one of the most interesting schools. They've been landing big time recruits left and right, and Shane Beamer has been building this program the right way. It started all the way back when Spencer Rattler declared that he's going to come back for one more year of football. South Carolina ended the year very, very hot, winning two big time games right at the end of the year, and even playing in their bowl game, very, very close game against a really good Notre Dame team, excuse me. But South Carolina has now made another pickup, Nick, and this one may be the biggest yet.
Yeah, Miles, this probably is the biggest move since Jadeveon Clowney. But before we get into that, South Carolina Gamecocks fans, we got to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Obviously, this has been one of the better off seasons. You've got a lot of new pieces coming in. You've got a lot of good transfers, a lot of good recruits. We're going to get into a big one very shortly. But let us know, next season, you've got a lot of great matchups, a lot of big-time games ahead of you. What game are you looking forward to the most now that you know what your team's going to be? You got your transfers in, you got your recruiting classes filled out. Give us one game, one matchup you think Carolina is poised to send a massive statement, and let us know in the comment section below. But Miles, enough of that. Give us the breaking news for Columbia.
Yeah, Nick, it has to be the biggest signing I could think of in recent memory for the Gamecocks, and that is none other than the acquirement of 5-star athlete Nick Harbor. Nick's great name, great football players, all named Nick. But this guy, Nick, is a monster. 6'5", 225 pounds, athlete. He plays tight end. He plays edge rusher. And get this, he's also an Olympic hopeful at the sprinter category. He's an Olympic sprinter hopeful. That is so big, Nick. This is a guy that is truly the definition of Beamer ball. It was the hottest recruit all through the country at the time. South Carolina makes a huge big-time play, and that is the definition of Beamer ball, Nick. Scoring anywhere on the field, always making the big-time plays, making the big turnovers, and they turned over Harbor. He has come to South Carolina, so this is a huge get. What do you think about this?
So we are in the era, both in the NFL and in big-time college football, which obviously Carolina's in the SEC, where defense is all about positionless players that can line up all over the field and just do anything they want to. They can cover, they can rush the passer, they can play the run, left side of the line of scrimmage, right side of the line of scrimmage. It doesn't matter. We see this on Sundays. You'll see this in the Super Bowl. You have Hassan Reddick for Philly. Dallas with Micah Parsons is a great example. You can go down the list of a lot of guys that fit that role. This guy right here, Harbor, falls into that same mold, Mice. He could literally line up anywhere. I could put him in corner and press corner, and he could be an all-SEC corner, I think. He can come off the edge and be a disruptive force as an edge rusher. He could be an off-ball linebacker. He can play the run. He could be a destructive force, in certain pass rush, nickel and dime situations. He could literally do it all. He is that physically gifted. If anyone hasn't seen it, you have to go out and watch the video of him sprinting and competing at the high level as he's doing at the 100 and 200 meters. It looks really ridiculous. The guy is ripped and tree, 6'5", 230. Looks like a monster out there. He just dwarfs everybody, and he's like twice as fast as everybody. He's an unbelievable athlete, and he's going to be a disruptive force for Carolina and the SEC for years to come. In terms of how he rates compared with everyone's going to talk about Jadeveon Clowney, I think this guy could be even better, Miles, because as weird as it is to say, I think he's a better athlete than Clowney ever was. I think that's the kind of guy we're looking at coming to Columbia right now.
Yeah, Nick, and it doesn't matter where he plays because he plays on the offensive side of the ball as well. And just one point of contention here, Nick. We talked about this, and we were correct. This is actually the 7th highest ever ranked signee in South Carolina's history. So this is a big time get. But, I think Harbor may be targeting the offensive side of the ball. He has mentioned in his interviews that he wanted to play like tight end type position to control his weight for the track season. As we mentioned, Olympic sprinter hopeful. So that is a lot of speed. But like you said, he can play all over the ball. I think he could even be a pretty lean edge rusher and still be very, very effective on this offense. But in his interview talking about this, he goes on to speak about Juice Wells coming back, Spencer Rattler coming back, and then he says they have a very dynamic offense. But if you add me to it, and Spencer's the great quarterback he is, so when he is on this offense, he says, I add another dimension. I am another high-level option. So I'm seeing touchdowns. I'm seeing sacks. I'm seeing the possibilities are endless with a guy like Harbor.